Isn't that the truth, Jace? I need a shoveling partner.
Yes.
I cannot face this winter alone. Ryan, you are
Oh yeah,
correct. I do
exactly.
something different with my hair each and every week. Usually I do this, sometimes I do that, occasionally I do this, sometimes I do this, and sometimes I do that as well, just to style that up. Styling tips from Shawn, free of charge. Well, charge to you, Ryan, but no charge to everyone else. So, Jace, what's going on with you this week?
Oh, week's been good. Unfortunately, didn't get any Legion in, but
Mm,
it's cold, so we've stayed inside. We got some painting done. Got some good minis painted up,
okay,
but
okay. Was
yeah,
that a dwarf
mostly just
what was that? Was that a Rohan guy or a dwarf? What was that?
yeah. So that's I painted up Gimli.
Okay, cool, cool. I thought it was a dwarf. Yeah, I couldn't tell. Quite
Yep.
awesome. I received some minis here. Some Lord of the Ring minis just for scale. I got a Gandalf in some forms and got some hobbits here for some scaly purposes. So just to
48th Ronin, you aren't getting those back.
yeah, those are now officially confiscated as tools for the studio. On the topic of 48th Ronin, I believe he has confirmed that the scouts for the Empire are now painted. I don't have any pictures, but the Empire Army is going to start to get painted. You're welcome, Bernard, and thank you, 48th Ronin. So we'll get some shots of that and then get you a link over to the painting service. You can access the service as soon as all of my stuff is done. Just saying. So,
Got just 2 years.
yep, yep. What do we have going on in chat here? Glad for the time change. Now I won't have to fall asleep while watching the show. Fair enough. And I hope that that is only because it's late there and not because we bored you to tears. However, tonight we will do our best to both entertain and keep you awake. So we have a few things to cover off. Obviously, last week in Legion, I'm going to save that until I get to the league update because I'm going to talk specifically about a league game. Then we'll actually have the league updates, and it won't really be an update other than we'll review the pods, and I'll talk about some games that have been happening and a lot of chatter this season in the channels, which is great. Lots of people planning games and getting their time zones sorted out or schedules in there, and I think we'll see a bunch of games this week. I'm put it out to have another game this week as well. I got one in the books. I got four. I got three remaining, four more remaining. I'm not sure how many I have left. So, can we also get takes on the election down here? No. Moving on. So
There's an election down there.
yes, I
There we
mean
go.
every
There's our
other
take.
every other week there's an election in the United States of America. So yeah,
Yeah.
we'll do that, and then we're gonna do a Make It Better session, Worlds Edition, and this is going to be Bryant's list, who who is taking it to a Worlds qualifier. Bryant, who does not have a Worlds invite, who is working hard to get a Worlds invite so that he can come over. And then we can have the connection of all the Friday Night Fights crew from at least 3 different continents, which would be fantastic. So good luck with that from our northern neighbors. There you go. Strange Events got the coverage. He's bringing you the East Coast coverage of the down south election. So we're going to run through our regular housekeeping stuff. We're going to cover all the AMG tweets as of late, or a few things on the AMG Twitter pertaining to Legion. Like I said, we'll do a little bit of a recap, and then we'll do that Make It Better session. We'll break down Bryant's list as well as the command cards, upgrades, and units that he's taking, and then we'll have a bit of a roundtable. I have a sick baby, so I'm going to be try to be expeditious here tonight with the show, but we won't shortchange you. I'm just going to be quick on most things. So before we get into the stuff here, Jace, let's do a little recap. Of course, like I said, title of the show, episode 146. By the way, congratulations to us on episode 146. Quite a milestone. I didn't know if we were going to make it past 145, but here we are. So as I said, winter is definitely here. 3 days of snow and snow shoveling has me singing winter blues already. I am looking for some reprieve. We are going to have a Friday night fight this week. Last week, Jace, he had a sick family member, and he was on the emergency response duties, and so he was forced to stay home. That's priority, so we'll give him a pass on that. Subsequently, Friday Night Fights is all ready to go because I prepped the whole show for last week. So the table is set up over there. The guys haven't seen it, so there's no week prep that they can do. I have the lists. I think you guys know that. Jace, I think you are You are red, I think, this week, right? I think.
I I think so.
I think Anthony had a bid this week, so I can't quite remember who had the bid over that, but I believe that is correct. And what else do we have? Okay, we're gonna cover off round one, like I said, and then also just because I wanted to share out, and I'll show Zuri later. This was us. We did some Halloween prep. She's not afraid of pumpkins. We did some cool carving. We broke out some studio tools. And got some pumpkins carved up. So that was a fun thing to do. This is the first Halloween that we kind of did all of the things. So her big deal was knock knock, trick or treat, thank you, next house. That's pretty much how the dialogue went for our entire street. So super super fun. I don't think she really likes any candy, to be honest. Likes opening it, but that's it. So Dad got to consume some candy this week, which was super super fun. Okay. Jace, how many trick-or-treating houses did you go to?
We went to 0,
Okay.
and we had a grand total of
Three.
three 15-year-olds.
Oh, good,
come
nice.
by.
I guessed. Nice.
They weren't even children.
We had on our street. There's pretty much, well, you know, our street's kind of like secluded, sort of set off from the rest of the town here, and then so our street was basically busy, but with like our street folks. So we just left a basket out of. We did Kool-Aid jammers this year, something a little bit different. So the last 3 folks that came, unfortunately, we didn't know because we didn't watch the camera the whole night. But the last 3 kids, they didn't get anything, so we feel bad about that. But the 4th last persons that came, little people, I tell a funny story. They came, they started loading up some Kool-Aid jammers, maybe like 4 or 5 jammers each. One glanced up, they have a camera, and then threw a couple jammers back, and then jammed out of the down the driveway. So they didn't know I'm a school principal, so I could probably just figure out who those kids are. But I'm not gonna go. I'm not gonna go that far. But I thought it was funny. I got some entertainment out of it. So they're welcome to all the jammers they want, because I had a good chuckle about that. So yeah, I could have basically been one of those people that had the viral, doorbell camera videos, but I'm not going to share that out of privacy for those children. But yeah, that was my Halloween story. So what else do we got going on? Social media, Jace, where do people find us if they're looking for us?
Yeah, so if you are looking for us in other places, you can definitely go check us out on Facebook at Star Wars Legion Friday Night Fights. Check us out on Instagram and the best new Dutch website in the world, Twitter for Legion_FNF, and check out the Patreon at the Terrain Studio.
Oh, awesome. And they all just got fired. Okay, moving on. Token update. There is no pictures to show. However, I will tell you the 2 last samples. I basically just changed a few elements on 2 of them. So we'll have 3 to go by. The other ones are in my hand. They shipped today. So I anticipate probably about a week or so. We'll have them. We'll figure out all the things that we need to do, and then we'll get those ordered. I don't know. They said on the website, it said 3 weeks turnaround on orders. I ordered yesterday. I mean, I placed the order before. I just had to do the payment because I forgot. So I paid yesterday, and they shipped today. So that is the quickest 3 weeks I've ever heard of. However, that is a very small order. I don't know what the large order will be like. However, if we get them in quick enough and we can kind of get that sorted, I think we'll still be pretty close to that Christmas time. So stay tuned for that if you're interested. The details will be on the Patreon. As I mentioned before, we are doing a few more promos. The promo stickers, the test batch, showed up. They're very cool. They're very high quality stickers. They got a really nice matte finish, so kind of the look that we're going for. They're quite robust. They look like they're quite quality. These are going to be a perk that's going to go to Patreons as well, so you're not going to be able to buy them or anything. I'm going to order the batch, and then any of the folks on our $15 tier, you're just going to get some in an envelope. They're going to mail out to you guys so that you can get those. So if you guys want to support, you want stickers, a lot of people like stickers for gear bags and et cetera, just a fun thing. It's no additional cost. We're not jacking up the price of the tier. It's always been that. You're just going to get some more perks. As we said, we're going to continue to put out perks for that level. And then, of course, we have the new card sleeves. Look, Ryan, something I'll never forget. There is ways to get it, Ryan. Just pointing that out. I think there's some folks in chat who have probably got some stuff. And then, like I said, I am working on the 3.0, the 2023 card design. Again, we'll do those as a perk on the Patreon. So stay tuned for that. You don't have to join until you see the things that you like, but you can also join the Patreon just to get the content part of things and to support the channel, which actually runs this live stream each and every week, as well as Friday Night Fights. Those are run under the studio, if you guys did not know that. Speaking of that, I also got a massive order from Gamers Grass, and so we'll be I did a little preview on that. I think I got 51 packs of grass stuffs for the Hobbit project. We'll be doing a giveaway because I also got a box from Gamers Grass as giveaways. I can't do Patreon giveaways, but I will tell you this: if you are a patron, you probably could be entered to win something if you're picking that up. It cannot be posted on Patreon, just so you know. But we will do some giveaways for that. I believe several people have got these. They're fantastic. If you ever find these in your local store and you didn't know or haven't tried them before, give them a shot. They'll be worth the dollars. If your local store has them, bonus to you. You don't have to wait for shipping. But if you want to go ahead and order, they're actually quite reasonable. They do come from far away, but they do ship rather fast. This box actually got hung up in customs for a bit. But I think it's just because it was so large. But anyway, go check them out, and I'll be doing lots of usage on this or of this product on the Hobbit project itself. So we mentioned Jace. Do you want to preview your list a little bit for Friday, just in case people didn't know what you're playing? I mean, you played it, but maybe people didn't see that episode. So why don't you talk a little bit about that? I'll jump to the screen so people can see you.
So I'm totally going to start playing with the new stuff. I am playing Din and IG-11. And I'm taking a Rebel officer, 2 Rebel trooper units with the DLT and the captain in situational, a Rebel with binoculars, 2 pikes with the distributor, 2 strike teams, and of course a pike capo to go with those guys. And if none of you have realized what I just said, it's the same list I played not last week because we didn't have a show, but the week before.
Yeah.
So I'm going to try this again because I felt I played it pretty bad the first week, so I'm going to try to get a little bit better. And I think Din and IG have a lot of potential.
I think playing lists, like not necessarily bad, but like you playing like I don't think anybody intentionally sets out be like, let me play this list as poorly as possible. I think what happens is you go and you're like, let me try this with this list. Let me flex this much with this list this way. Let me try to be aggro with this list. Let me try to bundle this list up. Let me try to space this list out. I think that when we talk about learning from lists, it's the experience. The game might go poorly for you, but I don't think that translates out into like how you did it, because if you don't know how to do something efficiently, it's generally going to look like it's bad. So I think that's what I mean. I'm not speaking for you, but when you said you played it badly, I think you just played it less efficiently, or not as you didn't maybe capitalize on all the advantages that the list had to offer. But
No,
I think that's tough to do the first, fourth, fifth, even 10th time with a list. I'm 6 games, 7 games deep with 6 games deep with the list I'm running right now, and I still don't quite have it all figured out in terms of like what I want to do with it. I'll talk specifically about the games that I played the last 2, and I played them entirely different. Like, I mean, 100% polar opposites than the 4 previous practice games that I played, which were kind of more in the middle. And I'll talk a little bit about that as well when we get into my last week in Legion. So, but that'll be Jace's this week in Legion. So let's thank a couple people for helping us out. Of course, we have Deep Cut Studios. They help us out each and every week with the gaming mats. As I said, I'm talking to them right now about some hobby mats for us, as well as the dice trays you guys asked about. So stay tuned for that. We want to thank LegionTerrain.com as well. If you guys did not know, Legion Terrain actually has a Black Friday sale going on for the whole month. They didn't ask me to do this. I just said I would, because I think if we can translate things over to you guys for information that you didn't know. They have, let me bring this up here real quick so I can actually look at it. Hey, how do I do that? There we go. So looking at their site, this is on their Instagram, November 1 to 17, tables are on sale with 10% off individual prices. 18 to the 24th of November, they're 15% off. And the 25th to the 4th of December, 20% off individual prices for tables, and 15 to 20% off I think individuals. That's what it kind of says on here. So basically, there's thresholds. We're right in now in the 10%, but I think it's like while supplies last. So I think as you leave it going longer, the sale gets better, but the potential inventory might run down a little bit because it says buy when the time is right to ensure you get the special item or table bundle to build your collection. So good on them to run a sale. Not every company has to do that or does do that. But if you guys are looking, you guys seen us run these things, lots of their terrain on our tables, the painted versions, you guys can go check that out. I think it probably applies to both. Don't quote me on that, but go check them out just for funsies. We also want to thank Imperial Terrain as well. We have, I've seen it. We have some 3D prints on their way. It's going to be more of like I'd say like a different biome that we really have featured, and definitely some stuff to add to the current biomes that we have. So thank you, Imperial Terrain. Also thanking Michael. TellMeTheOdds.net. I've been pinging Michael. I want to ping Michael again. You guys, Stamp Wizard in the chat, so we can get Michael back out. Helping us out. I'm sure he's got a ton of things going on. I know he's a very, very busy individual. Now, the wizards and all, but I'm sure we can kind of convince Michael. And I especially think we should get Michael, Jace, back for the Christmas special, holiday special, I should say, because we need somebody to run our spreadsheet for all the winners. So, Michael, shout outs to doing the clerical work so that we don't mess anything up and we get all those prizes to people. On the topic of prizes, welcome, Donnie. We'll do the shout outs in chat. Thanks for reminding me, Donnie. I forgot to do that. So type in the chat where you guys are checking in from, and we'll give you guys a shout. Want to thank all the folks helping us out on the support wall, both our donators and patrons, both past and present. Thank you very, very much. You guys are creeping us up incrementally to our goal total here. Aaron coming in last week and helped us out. We got to that 26% threshold. We're pressing up. I'm sure that we will have a big influx as we move towards the end of the year, get into that Christmas special. If you guys don't know what we do, we don't buy giveaway items. We use our great relationships to help that out. But here's what we got going on for you guys. This is the work that we're doing behind the scenes. So you guys motivate us, and this is the work we do. Right now, count them up, Jace. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 battle forces to give away for the 30th of December. 5, courtesy of Dragon's Den, the Terrain Studio, courtesy of Pally from the Streets, and Bryant coming in with 2. So that's 5. We have 3 painted models, operative or commander's choice. We have a Din, Grogu, IG-88, and the IG-11, obviously that bundle. That's going to be available to our current donators on the donate wall. That's the only one that's limited there. So Brian's got a prize both for the donators as well as the fans at large, and that's the Battle Forces, by the way, so definitely the larger one. We have Altards coming in from Dice Time. We have a brush set coming in from Back to Basics. We have a Bosk and Sabine coming in from them, and then we have 14 individual sets of 50 card sleeves featuring a Kylo Ren and Operative Luke, or a Luke in jumpsuit. I have a custom set of tokens coming out, some free months on Patreon, full sets of battle sleeves, the custom ones, the 2022 edition, as well as a Battle Force coming in from me as well. So waiting on the eWeb giveaway. Well, you know what? If we get a donation of the eWeb, you might be in luck, Ryan. So December 30th, put that on your calendar. Come join us for that game. It should be fun. All right, we got some more sponsors to thank, but first let's jump into some news from the streets. This will be courtesy of the Twitter and an AMG. So, Jace, I saw it today, and I just wanted to share this for people that are interested. I'm particularly interested in what they're painting, not necessarily the paint stream itself. But they did go live today. At least I saw it today, and I think it was from earlier today. And they were busy painting the X-Wing terrain piece. So before we get into that, we're going to talk specifically about that. Do you tune in for these paint streams? Do you watch them at all? Like either the Crisis Protocol stuff or the Legion stuff? Or I know sometimes they give a bit of spoilers away, but I don't want to sit down and go through the paint stream just to wait for a tidbit. It'll come out eventually, but what do you think? You paint, so I thought you might be interested.
I paint, but I do not watch their streams.
Fair. That's fair. That's fair. I know they're not for everybody, but
yeah. If I watch a painting stream, I kind of want it to feel educational, and I don't feel like their painting streams are teaching me really how to be better at painting. It's just kind of like a sit down and chat, which is cool. But if you do that and show me cool stuff, then I'll probably watch.
Yeah, the one thing about the paint stream that, and maybe it's a thing, I don't know. There must be some element of it. The one part that like, and I think this is just because this is where my mind goes, but the one thing that I want to know the most when I see other terrain or models or anything really creative is what material did you use? And I'm not saying that I do a great job at this, but if you ever watch any of the
Yeah.
how-tos, I literally do a sidebar on the feed that gives you the product number, it gives you the company that I bought it from, the size, the exact image of the product that I'm using, whether it's color paint, a paste, an ink, anything that I'm using, it appears on there. So anybody who wants to replicate any element of that can go check that out. So one of the things that frustrates me is that they don't share any of the paints that they use. And I know they do a bunch of blending and mixing and mixing of colors and kind of making their own. But it would be super nice if you gave the analog. Like this is a mix of, but it's similar to, so that I could go out and sort of replicate a color scheme or something like that. Just my only suggestion. I mean, it's indifferent. It's not going to make a
Agreed.
difference in the grand
100%.
scheme of thing, but let us know what you're using. Like that is what a lot of people ask. That's why I spend so much time making sure that I do unboxings and revealing the products that you use. And you want to share that knowledge. It's literally on a tier on the Patreon where I'm like, I will help you to know what to get so you don't waste your money. And I think that's something that they could definitely do. And they have, I mean, Legion has its own paints, but maybe they're not using that particular paint, or maybe they can't say
Yeah.
or something like that. There might be some governing mechanism that I don't know, but I can still air my frustration with that, I guess. So, but enough about that. That's fine. So
Agreed.
I'm going to say here that we have B Smith checking in from his house. Welcome, B Smith. Donnie checking in from Muskoka. J Rod checking in from Sacramento.
Woo.
Congratulations, J Rod. He has himself a 2021 World Invite. One just on the weekend. So I see that they maybe don't have any 2022 invites out yet, but it doesn't matter. It's still good. I have a 2019 World Invite, and it's just as good as yours, and it'll be just as good as the one that Bryant is about to win. So we'll talk a little bit more about that. Let's get into that terrain piece that we talked about, Jace. So a couple... building a time machine as we speak. Fantastic. By the way, can you make a video and make sure you share the materials that you use for that? All right, Jace, what do you think about this release? And we've talked about it before, but I want to come at it from another angle. What do you think about this release with, and I don't quote me on this because we haven't seen any price tags here, but what we are hearing, and I don't know if this is American or Canadian dollars, but in the $100 range.
Yeah, so I'm going to assume it's 100 American. Based so for this discussion, that's what I'm assuming. I mean, it looks cool. It looks like a nice set. But
100 bones?
it looks like it would be fun to paint, but I'm not getting it.
I need to know what else is in this kit.
Also,
and like, are we getting a full set of like objectives? Like here, let me spitball
I
this.
hope
with you.
not.
Let me spitball this to you. Like, let's just go on one extreme, and we are not claiming any of this is accurate. But if you got the equivalent of like a full set of, or like, let's just say a new deployment, a new condition, a new objective, a scenario pack, a few upgrades, and this, are you at $100 in value yet? And I understand $100 is relative value
for those cards.
Right, fair.
Yeah.
Is the piece
I
of
also doubt they put upgrades in it because they seem to have forgotten about putting upgrades in regular unit packs anymore too. So
right.
I don't think we're ever seeing upgrade cards again.
Fair, maybe not. Is the piece of terrain, let me ask you this, let me go the other way. What is a piece of terrain? And it looks like you get 4 pieces for all intents and purposes, and we don't really know the rough size, but we think it's fairly big based on that one image that we saw. I know, Andrew. Yeah, I know we're gonna get a full spoil. We're not there yet, so we're going to use our speculative minds. I think on the 15th, maybe, I think is going to be a reveal. But what do you think about, like, what is the value of this to you? Because I think there's great inherent value in AMG doing terrain. I love that they're doing terrain. I think that's great.
Agreed.
I was a little sticker shocked at hearing 100, but again, I can't verify that, so I don't know that that's the thing. And I mean, maybe you can pre-order it, maybe the price is posted, but I'm just I like that they're doing it, but if that becomes the stock line for the cost of terrain packs, I think people are going to just find themselves in other venues where they're just getting, as you pointed out, more 3D prints for way less money, or way more prints for the same amount of money.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. It's also tough to see scale too, right? Because like they blow the figure up so much.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. In
So
this particular image, yeah.
it's like
Uh,
terrain is great, but the question is how useful is that terrain going to be, right? Because if it's all lower than a silhouette, then what's the point? Because it's just a barricade.
yeah. Ryan's saying they have the contents on the AMG or the Asmodee site. Forgive me if I'm a little bit cautious, that I'm almost trusting nothing that's posted anywhere until I can see it in a box.
Here, Sean, I'll read you exactly what it says. This pack contains everything you need to add one crashed X-wing to your collection. You get the one miniature, four terrain pieces, one upgrade card, three oversized scenario cards.
Okay. Three, it says?
It says three
Okay.
oversized
So it's
scenario.
like the escape pod basically. So
But they're oversized. Remember, they're jumbo cards now.
yeah, fair. I think they're basically like what they're basically like
However, there is an upgrade
this,
card in there, so I'm
right?
wondering what
They'll be
that is.
this. Yeah.
I'm assuming it's for the scenario.
But is it going to be like, like is it going to be like the slicer gear? Probably going to be something like that. It's some upgrade that's specific to the scenario. So here's
Yeah.
my point. I love it. I'll get it. I pre-ordered two. It doesn't matter. I pre-ordered two because I think the terrain is cool, and I think I want to have more and more terrain. So I think a couple crashed X-wings. We got a couple crashed X-wings from courtesy of Legion Terrain, but we're connoisseurs of terrain, and we like all either handmade or from this company, that company. We like to feature lots of things. I'm just wanting to have selfishly a rollout of terrain that's priced in this price point as the let's test the waters. If it doesn't sell at the price point, is that going to discourage future production of terrain because the run through wasn't great? I'm not speculating that it won't be good. I'm just saying that, or does that mean, hey, future terrain, we're going to knock that price point down, or are we going to be like, this one's sold and all future will be at this price point as well? Because I don't know if I'm going to be able to get behind every single piece that comes out unless there's something in there that I really need. Because at certain point you're going to be like, I don't need any more. I would say we're probably at that point in the studio. I don't think we need any more tables worth when we're running a table a week. We have a lot of choice. We
Yeah.
like it. We want to be able to feature it for companies, so it's inherent value for them. But as a general player, I don't think I need to have 6, 7, 8 tables worth of terrain. So yeah, it's interesting. There's a comment in chat about pointing if it came pre-painted, maybe that would put it closer to value. Yeah,
If it
maybe.
was pre-painted, I think
Yeah.
it would be worth $100 if it was pre-painted
I
like
think if
this.
it's pre-painted, you tap into another market of the folks that are
Yeah.
like, I just want to, like, we tap into like that's the Gale Force 9 world. That battlefield in a
Yep.
box stuff, crack it open, it's pre-painted. There's nothing like exceptionally detailed about it, but you pop it out, your hills are done. You pop it out, your ruins are done. You pop it out, your Flames of War buildings all painted, all looking great. Put it on a table. You can buy yourself a table that's fully done, paint your models, and away you go. That's an entirely different conversation than buying something that you have to that you have to paint. Assembly looks like it's minimal at best, but yeah. You think we'll see a battlefield in a box eventually? I mean, I would pay for that, like the matching terrain set for something. Yeah, I don't know if they'll go that route. I think you'll probably see thematic terrain, maybe terrain pieces, themed to releases, like maybe the Battle Force, and then maybe there's an accompanying piece of terrain. I can see the Endor Battle Force coming out and having some Endor terrain. or maybe some traps or things like that. They'll do a little terrain set, or maybe another variant of the downed ATST or something like that. I can see those things happening. So what I guess my final point is, I like this. I think this is a great idea. I didn't know it was going to be $100. That might be on the steep side, from my opinion. That's just mine. I feel like a lot of people have expressed that. I'm not saying that it will be a fail. I will purchase it. Hopefully the quality is there to justify that. If it is, you'll certainly hear me singing that. If it's not there, I will maybe after I receive one, purchase one. I will suggest maybe where I might think that price point could be at. So. B. Smith, I never thought I would agree.
Indoor bunker?
Good question.
Was
I
that
have
like
one.
80?
I have just one sec. I'll see if I have a sticker. I have one unopened right there. One sec.
I wonder what it's currently going for on Asmodee's site. Imperial bunker. $80.
Don't have a sticker on it, but it's
$80 on Asmodee's website.
Okay, so $80 for that. Getting some interior pieces, some different doors, and then getting the 3, not jumbo, but 3 regular cards. $80. I think reasonable. If this is the same size as this, then it should be the same price as this.
Exactly. I feel like this should be 80, unless it comes out and we get it and it's just massive.
Yeah.
But again, that's the problem with the pictures, is I can't tell the scale. So maybe it's just a huge amount of terrain and you're set.
I will say this: it looks very cool. I think it's totally functional. I like that they got like that you have a little piece. I like that you have various sizes. If the pieces are substantial enough, maybe the price point's correct. So we'll reserve right to talk about that a bit more. So, all right, well, we've prattled on enough about that. That was a lengthier discussion than wanted to. Let's move into, again, another tweet. So Atomic Mass Games put this out. I didn't catch the date on this. It was a little bit back from this one, but not that old. But we are aware of the production issues with our recent Star Wars Legion Battle Force release. Link below, we have provided a print and play solution for non-essential components. In addition, we've planned a production run to address missing components. We will update you with dates for these fixes as available. Thank you for their patience. We did ask for AMG to respond. We did ask for AMG to come up with some solution. I think we are 80% of the way there. The only part that I don't necessarily think is concluded here is what is going to be done with the run to address the missing components. There's some speculation about how people are going to acquire those. Hopefully it's going to be like, there is those proof of purchase codes. Maybe that's what you need to use, and maybe you could send that in and they send you the missing components. Maybe that's how it just leaves a little bit to be desired in terms of what are you going to do specifically to address this. So thoughts on this, Jace?
I think it's good. I think it's good they're finally doing something. And I've heard that because they haven't released the rest of the Blizzard Force ones, which were the ones that had the huge problems. But the ones that did get out, they got to figure out what they're going to do. I do like where this is heading, though, in that can we please just get rid of cards being necessary for tournaments now? If things are going to be print and play, can we just get rid of the card necessity for tournaments? It is not needed.
So while we're asking questions, and this we weren't intending this to be as lengthy of a segment, but hey, we're talking about all the things that do with our game, so I think it's relevant. For you, Jace, does the price of a Legion release, because we've kind of seen it go the other way, does the price of a Legion release need to come down if we start to get less in the package? And I mean intentionally getting less, not you've had a mistake and there was an error. I mean, should the price come down if we're not going to have the components that we're getting right now?
I guess it could, but I don't know. I look at a pack and I don't even look at the cards that are in it. Besides, obviously, it's I need my command cards because you have to play those. But upgrade cards, unit cards, I kind of see those almost as a bonus because when I play, most of the time, I'm never using them.
Okay. Donnie's saying they got rid of the proof of purchase, that little token.
Yeah, I think they did.
I will say I don't punch out the token. So I have a boatload of them. I don't know. I didn't really notice that they stopped putting them in, but fair enough. I don't punch out any tokens. I pull the cards out of the bag and that's it. I I mean, we use our own activation tokens,
You're
and
doing better than I did. The cards are still in the bag for me.
yeah, fair. I
I pull out
mean,
the command cards and that's it.
that being said, I have a plethora of unopened items there, but
Yeah.
when I opened them, I should say, oh well, if the proof of purchase is gone, that kind of blows that idea out of the water. I mean, yeah, I just don't know how we're going to acquire these missing components, and I'm always fearful, and I know that people are good citizens, but I'm always fearful that people start to take advantage of this, and then we swamp the system. So then we're getting components that you aren't missing, that you just don't have, and then there's no way for them to kind of maybe govern that request. And so I think that part of the the replacement was starting to happen with FFG, and my people were like, oh yeah, I didn't get this component when they clearly did, and taking advantage of that. So not calling people out, but I'm worried about a system that relies on people to all be super good, because I just know how that works. And,
Yes.
I inherently think people are good, but
Spoiler alert, doesn't always.
yeah, exactly. So, but if that was the case, we wouldn't have to have laws and rules and things like that. So, yeah, this leaves a little bit to be desired. I don't know if it's necessarily lazy. I don't know if I'm fully with Ryan, and I think that lazy would have been putting nothing out. The community asked for a response. There is a response. They did give us a sort of a temperate solution in terms of the cards. So if you're missing something, here's where you go get them. The tokens are a little bit different, but we suggested that there's lots of ways to work around that, and so hopefully people are finding ways to work around that. So let's see what's Ryan saying here. During the chance they killed the CS department, where you could put in a ticket for missing components, was a really good service. Since then, you have to return to your local. Yeah, and I don't really like going back to the local gaming store because you're kind of hounding them
Yeah,
to
I do
replace
dislike that change.
something that they didn't have any control over either. And then it's like, and if they're not able to help you or not able to help you in the manner that you want, it's like a customer service department at any store really in general, where now the gripe is with the person who's standing in front of you, and that's not the person who's going to A, provide you the solution, or B, was the person that caused the problem in the first place. So I do have an issue with that as well. But let's just wait, see what happens. Meanwhile, print your stuff out. If you don't have the components, I guess you'll have to find a workaround. So, yeah, and Striker saying, I think Asmodee killed it. I doubt it was FFG specifically, and I'm sure if Atomic Mass Games had the ability to fix all these things, they probably would try. I don't think they have the capacity to do that, and that's not a slight against them. I just don't think that there's a capacity of their company to do all the things they're doing plus. So that needs to be taken on by a much bigger entity, and Asmodee would be that. They just have to be willing to do so. So, what do you think? I think the upgrade card with cash tapped icons still necessity. The use of I guess I see what you're saying there. But is there any other way to do that? Is there any other mechanism that we could keep track of? Maybe a specific
Just release a token.
or yeah, or maybe there's even like a little bit of a dashboard that you can keep, and it's like, this is my cash tokens, these are not the ones that are on my cards, blah blah blah. So I'm sure we could find some mechanism to work around that. But yeah,
also the amount of other games that use a pen and paper, like it's not that hard to just have like a little notepad beside you either,
or even dry erase markers on cards with card sleeves over them, like
exactly,
marking off damage or things like that. So.
And I'm not saying that like you can't have upgrade cards there. I'm just saying you aren't required to have them.
Right. No, that
or
makes
required
sense.
to have the full 6 sets if you're bringing 6 copies of the exact same thing.
Well, yeah, that's true. Well, we did ask for AMG to give us some news and things to talk about, so they did. They've they got a painting stream. They've released some stuff. They're teasing out some other stuff, and hopefully fixing some problems that people are encountering. So. There's all of that. Okay, let's move on to briefly. We didn't get to this week in Legion. Let's move on to the league update. But before we do, let's do a couple sponsors, and then we'll do the league update. Then we'll get into fixing Bryant's list. And then we'll even see if we have time for a roundtable. So, all right. So we want to give a shout out to Phoenix Games in Australia. Obviously, this is at Bryant's company. So Bryant's going to help us out big time with the Christmas giveaway. He's back. He's actually probably got the most Legion components contributed. So thank you, Bryant. So go check them out. Phoenix Games Australia. On the topic of Australia, I want to thank Aaron at Back to Basics specifically for the help he does with me in the studio, but he's also made some substantial contributions to the Christmas giveaway as well. If you're looking for hobby organizers or paint racks, you can go check out Back to Basics. You can actually customize all your stuff in acrylic and or MDF, which is kind of cool. I have some stuff to match up the studio colors here. So we did talk about doing a Friday Night Fights paint rack, and we could do that as a giveaway as well. All right, what else do we got? All right, the league season 2 round 1 is underway. I think we're going into week 2, Jace, because we did a Tuesday episode.
I think so.
Yeah, because we did the pod release. So so we're into we launched on we were supposed to go on the 1st, and we went on the
you guys
31st.
Launched on Monday.
Yeah, didn't we go on Halloween? Yeah, we did go on Halloween. So we went on the Monday, and Graham helped me out with that because we went a day ahead, and it went great. We have 5 pods currently running. Here's the pods here. So we got J-Rod, Hugo Biggs, Shawn Death, Canadian Bear, Mr. Witty, Silent Sword. I seen Shawn Death, and maybe we'll talk about that one briefly. Sorry, not Shawn Death. Canadian Bear and Mr. Witty, they played in a game. It was a bombing run game, clones versus CIS. It was interesting. Canadian Bear, I have to chat to him about his deployment choices there. So again, not playing badly, just probably made some choices that he would make differently next time. And then I also saw, forgive me if I'm wrong, but I think Shawn Death played Mr. Witty. Shawn, you played. I think you played Mr. Witty. That was in a game that I think was Jake's first game with the CIS.
Mr. Witty played Canadian Bear.
Mr. Witty did play Canadian Bear, but Mr. Witty played before that in his first game, and I think he played Shawn Death, and Shawn was running the Vader, or maybe he played J-Rod. No, maybe he played J-Rod. There we go. Okay, it was. He must have played J-Rod, and it was. There we go. He corrected me. And that was the Blizzard Force running into Vader, doing a lot of blendering. There was a lot of dead B1s in that game. So, and J-Rod and I also played a practice game that he had. Vader did Vadering things in that game as well. So that was a fun one. So Jake obviously learned some things in game 1. Brought him back for game 2. Travis jumping in, welcome. Pod 2, we got Nate the Great, JD, Eric, Cape Satan, Florf the Dwarf, and Kokazula. I haven't seen any games in this one here. I did see some games were set up for this coming week. So a bit of time zones to sort out in this particular group. So nothing that I can report there, but that is the group. Pod 3, Strange Event, OS Dad, GM Smithers, Fluffy Saurus, and Dashes. I think Dashes played Anthony in a game. Looked like it was a close 2-1 final, I think, there. I don't know how Nick and Anthony's game went, so maybe they'll jump into roundtable and let us know, but I do believe they played their game as well. Pod 4, Tactical Genius, Anthony, Scythe Dog, Don't Call Me Psych Dog. We got Bear Chemist. I believe Bear Chemist played Anthony in game 1. I think Anthony got the win there. Dark Slider 66, Emmanuel, and Bobster. I'm not sure if any other games have been played in that group. I could be wrong on that, though, so they can correct me. And then Pod 5, this is one of the smaller groups. It's a 5-man group instead of a 6-man group. This is my group here. Commander KQ, Monty Python 2000, myself, Exiled Bullet, and Justice. Justice and I played, I think we played yesterday or the day before. I can't even remember. My days are blurring together. Him and I played, and I'm going to talk about that game specifically right now in our This Week in Legion, if you guys will indulge me. So This Week in Legion, that was a practice game. I won that one. Bikes came in clutch. Oh, okay, that was a practice game you and Anthony played. Okay, my bad. So Nick did play Anthony, but it was not a league game, although they do have a league game scheduled. Roger that. But if you won, Nick, I would have quickly had deja vu, or I quickly had amnesia and said that was a called game. Call me in. I'd be the judge. I would heavily rule in your favor for sure. So just hit me up if you want the dub there. Just kidding. So I played Justice, and I played the opposite way that I played J-Rod. So when I played J-Rod, I said, I'm going to be uber aggressive, see what we can do. Running into Blizzard Force with bikes, bad idea. Although the bikes can trade. I ran very poorly on the save end of the stick there. However, in my game against Justice, it was the opposite. I chose to play standing orders for the first 3 turns. I chose to do a whole lot of nothing for basically 4 turns of the game. I flank with my buses. I did a lot of, as Stryker called it, aerial acrobatics in the back of the buses, and put on a show for my pikes, who were not coming out to play at all. Black Sun stood in the buses doing what they normally do, just standing around being hulking masses. And I had to just watch Justice front the game. He was playing. We were playing KP, I should say. He took his crater, I took my bunker, and then we just stared at the sort of pyramid rock in the middle. He had Obi, which was an absolute tank. I know Obi is slightly cost prohibitive in taking, but he is great value. He did a lot of tanking. He kept Justice's pikes alive in the game, I would say, or really from having to make too many saves. So Justice moved pretty much everything to be within striking distance of the middle. I postured the buses to be within striking distance of the middle. I finally decided to bring my bikes in on turn 5. They proceeded to die on turn 5 and 6 because they're fragile. They did what they needed to do in terms of stalling him a little bit, creating a little bit of a bubble, and doing some suppression. He was very good at rolling off suppression. I was unable to panic any units, although I had several on 5 and 4, and he was able to keep them around. So those saves were good. My buses were fantastic. Very, very good at negating plink damage. My Black Sun came out and did awesome, huge shot like they should do. Did not do that against J-Rod. They were fairly weak. But then I actually got one-shotted my Black Suns again. This has happened 2 times in a row now with my Black Suns. Not 2 games in a row, but 2 consecutive times where I bring them out, they erase a unit, and then got erased. I think I made 7 saves, and I rolled 6 blanks on red. So not good. They got erased pretty quickly, yes. However, in the KP game, when the bus just has to sit on the middle or be a hulking mass on the middle, that's just what it needs to do. So I don't regret the Black Sun choice, and I don't regret the build out on them. They're super, super scary. The other one came out and held its own in a melee with Obi. Obi was unable to kill them with a big swing, and then the last 2 Black Suns went 4 for 4 for blocks, just to stand there. Obi was, Justice is pointing out, maybe he'll come in round table and give us his own synopsis, but his Obi was not able to deflect back anything. I didn't shoot his Obi a lot, in fairness. He did Guardian him a ton. My quad laser on that bus is really good. I think. Oh, Jace, I rolled the frenzied gunner, and I told you I didn't shoot in turns basically in 1 or 2, but I rolled frenzied gunner and I rolled the surge on the red dice 3 turns in a row. So I was able to get I was able to add the red to the 6 black 3 consecutive turns. So that just makes it infinitely better shot. So I actually rolled more. I rolled more surges.
Basically just being like goodbye light cover.
Yeah, I rolled more surges on my frenzied gunner than Justice rolled on his Obi for deflects. Let's just put it that way. And I was only rolling 1 block a turn, and he was rolling several. So in the end, we played all 6 turns. I was able to obviously back secure mine. He was able to back secure his. And then I got bus, bike, pike. Bus, Black Sun, and bike on the middle for 4. He had an Obi on there with 1 wound left, weakened Pike Squad, and second weakened Pike Squad. So he was able to get 3 on the middle. So I was able to take the KP there. He was up on MOV because I was only able to kill. I think he had a couple Pike units weakened besides that, and a few bodies missing elsewhere. But I wasn't able to kill a whole bunch. But again, I did way less shooting. So great game. He played it real tight. I think the game was tactical from the outset. It just wasn't necessarily. I didn't want to engage, and he didn't want to overextend. So But that was the game. It was fun. It was, and I was glad we got a chance to play because we missed playing each other in the previous round. So that was my game against Justice. And you didn't have any games, correct, Jace? Because
I
you
did
didn't,
not,
yeah, you did not,
unfortunately.
yeah. My other game I played, I'll just talk about that. When I played J Rod, we played a real fun sort of layout. It was his four bikes and Vader versus my similar my list, my buses, and my exact same list actually, buses and the swoop bikes. And we played hemmed in bombing run, limb viz. So we just got real tight, and I was bound and determined to be as aggressive as possible off the hop. The only the only problem I think that I encountered there was I wasn't able to preserve my comms jammers enough. I mean, 2 out of 8, 2 out of 20 on saves on bikes will do that. But I wasn't able to trigger both my comms jammer or my demoralized tactics enough. And even though I had a bunch of suppression out on his units, I wasn't able to get that next turn where I could stack up a few more because he has the ability to with the snowtroopers. If they're not running away, snowtroopers are always just sufficient. That single move and shot, based on the ranges that we had, they were always as potent as they would be, no matter how many actions they had. So that list is really really good. I think at preserving, it's built well. I want to take another crack at those bikes for sure. I think that I need to stagger my engagement and let the bikes sort of break on me as opposed to breaking the swoops on them. Vader got into to the Black Suns. Vader, any Force users in theory is going to chew my Black Suns up no matter what. The disadvantage is that any of those Force users with deflect. This is one of the things I talk about the Black Suns. When you throw 13 dice at a Force user and you hit them a lot, you better be prepared to potentially eat those deflects back, which is actually going to be detrimental to the Black Suns. So I really can't shoot Force users. I have to use the suppression mechanic, and I didn't exercise that enough in that game. So that was my takeaway from that. I needed to do that. So I also don't need to. The swoops are so fast. Bombing run can be a 4, 5, 6 turn. It doesn't need to be a 1, 2, 3 turn. So our bombs got off no problem. There was no question that was going to happen. He was going to do a bomb on turn 6, but I was able to make his bikes drop them, but not able to keep the bikes long enough. I had it mathed out that had I not dropped my bus, and I think I left him with 2 single wound models left on the table. Had I not dropped my bus, I think I win MOV 409 to 406. That's what the math said in the calculus. But unfortunately, I was not able to keep my bus alive, so that made that equation null and void. So it ended up being like 330 something or 320 something to like 503. But I needed to just kill off a few more folks, unable to do so. But still felt pretty good about all the things that the list could do besides the saves. But I made up for that in the league game. So that is my takeaway from that list. Still learning it, but I think it's quite good. So I've played it. Just trying to think of my games here, going back through 6 times now, 6 games. It's 5-1 right now. So still feeling pretty good about it. And the demoralize has been a great trigger. So I also learned this, Jace, win the list. Overrun on the bikes, the swoop bikes, even though it's overrun 1, they actually get to overrun 2 times in a turn if they have the 2 bikes. So the 2 bikes grant you overrun. Yeah, and I don't think I was doing that, or it wasn't registering in my brain that I could do that. So that's fun, and I'm glad that I can do that now that I know. So
it's disgusting.
yeah, so the dice don't stack, but the overrun does, and that's I think where the confusion came in. I thought both didn't stack, but that is pointed out and will be registered in the memory banks now. So awesome. Okay, well, we're at the hour mark. Let's get into his list here if you want to do that. Bryant's list. All right, let's go. All right, so we're doing the Make It Better. Your list, our thoughts, and this is courtesy of, like I said, of Bryant. This is the list that he's going to be taking to a Worlds qualifier, I believe, this coming weekend. So all of Bryant's opponents, tune in. You'll get all the insights on it. I will say that I don't know
Everything
what.
you need right
Yeah,
here.
everything you need to know right now about his list that may or may not be the same when you face him on the weekend. So, okay. Here's the list, Jason. Then I'll let you do all the breakdown because I've talked a lot. Din Djarin in here. He's got the Amban, situational awareness, the jetpack for 132 points. He's got IG-11, so this would be similar. And why I want Jace to go is because Jace is going to be playing several of these components. IG-11
Yeah.
with up close and personal and the bounty programming, so a little different than your version. He also has Han in this list, and I think we're going to see some more Han coming up. I think Han is going to find his way back into some games here. So. Donnie's saying 113.95 for the crashed X-Wing set. Wow. Okay.
Canadian.
Yeah, Canadian. Yeah. Han Solo with the Underworld connections obviously needs that, and he's got up close and personal. Good upgrade there.
Classic. Staple it to him.
Yeah, he's got 3 Rebel troopers, all just naked. So getting that min core requirement in there. He has a bit more than min core, but that's the core he has.
Well, that has to be your min core.
Because,
Mercs don't count for min core.
You don't know. That's what I'm saying. He has that min core, but he has some more core is what I was getting at. So he has some more core in the Pike foot soldiers, but he needs to have that 3 min. And he just has the capo in here. And I'm going to pose a question to you later. Ryan and I had a conversation yesterday. I think it was yesterday following the game or the day before, whenever I played. And he was asking me about how are people running Pikes? And I'm running them one way. This is another way. And then you were running them differently. And then Justice was running them even different than that. So I think there's 4 levels.
I think there's like 4 ways.
Yeah, 4 ways. And that's not counting the whip. I'm just talking about with the disruptor, but the whip I think would be interchangeable in the conversation in terms of being one of the variants. He does have 2 of the units with the capo here, and then he's got his big boys in here. And you don't usually say big boys with these, but he's got them kitted out, so I think they have big boy pants on. 2 X-34 land speeders, both with the Mark II medium blaster, both with the rifle gunner, both with the onboard comms channel. One has unstable astromech, and the other one has the refurbished conch with Shriv. They're all of those, and they're so reasonable in terms of point costs here. It's insane.
They
so
die
this is a
fast,
10 activation.
They die fast.
Yes, fair. 10 activation, 799 point rebel list. All right, Jace. Just looking at the units and the upgrades, what do you like? What would you change? What do we need to take out?
Okay, so I like Han. I think that's how you like to run him, up close and personal. Fine, right? Staple it to him. You don't need much more. You can take more if you want, but I think that's really all he needs at this point. So Din, he took the rifle. Situational awareness is good. The jetpack, I think, is a must on him.
Yep.
I'm sort of confused about the rifle because it means you don't really want to put Din in the land speeder because you can't use his like better closer range gun shooting out of it. But maybe he's trying to put IG in a land speeder so that he's got Han and IG for the double gunslinger. But one of my favorite things about IG-11 is the range 4 gunslinger.
Mm-hmm.
So that's interesting. Bounty programming on IG, which I agree with. I think you always take that. Up close and personal. Like, basically, the way he's built it out, Din has to be the sniper in the back. Yep. And IG is the one going up front, which is interesting because that's the exact opposite of how I have been playing the 2 of them. I prefer to get my Din up there and close, take the spear, let him hit heavy in melee, right? He's got long shot, he has tactical, he's got lethal, right? He's got all the tools he needs with aims to be good at closer range. And IG, just the range 4 gunslinger, like, and it's a good dice pool, and it's got sharpshooter, and it's got surge hit. So, I don't know. I personally like to run the 2 opposite.
I think in this list, though, and I think Travis and I think I would agree that IG and Han are probably in the land speeders. But here's the thing. These land speeders aren't like the typical ones where you kind of have to run around with the gun on the inside. There's a world where these land speeders can go up and get these guys out and then continue to move on and do things in this game. And so
100%.
I would have be tempted to think that might be the plan here. It's not necessarily a gunboat from the unit inside. It's a gunboat delivery device that goes off and does things. And I would say that would be the best way to do it, because in theory, you have about you have 5 solid threats in terms of gun platforms in these units, and then you could amass the rest to be a threat as well in either jumping onto a central point or doing your objective things. Meanwhile, not sacrificing any offense to do so.
Yeah, and B Smith is saying right, it makes it easier to use his 2 pip. But
True.
honestly, I don't think you take. We haven't got to command cards, and
Yep,
we'll see
we'll
if he
get there.
does.
Yep.
But I don't think you take the 2 pip. I honestly think out of the 4 options here, it's the worst. I don't think you want to give up Din's 2 pip. I think I would take Hans over it. I would take Reckless Diversion over it.
Well, here, how about we do this?
Yeah.
No sense in delaying. We know what we have here. Before, because you're getting into command cards, which I appreciate. I don't want to get there. Just before we move on, is there anything on here? It doesn't have any points to work with, so we're starting to subtract things
No.
at this point. Do you like everything that you're seeing here in terms of the upgradeness? Do you like?
I
Do you
like the
like?
upgrades.
Yeah, I don't think there's a lot of wiggle room in here at all. So I'm okay with that. I think if we start subtracting things, then we might be taking away from the sort of archetype of the list. I think the land speeders, if you want them to be threats, you need to leave them with something, because I think the moment these guys get out of them and they don't have the ability to continue putting shots into you, they lose their effectiveness.
What do you think of the pikes in there?
Yeah, I don't mind the pikes. What's the capo priced at? What's the price point on that? Are they like
The
9 points
capo,
or 7?
the oh no, the capo's like 16.
Oh, is it like 16?
Yeah,
I don't
yeah,
know
because
if
they're 40 base.
I don't know if I like it as much if of just taking the weapon. Um,
Yeah,
what's that
the
priced at?
weapons
I'm gonna have
the
a look.
weapons like 24. Yeah, 24.
So he's taking the he's taking the capo to give the independent surgeon the leader at 16 points there. So
Yeah, and courage 1. So you go to courage 2.
you do go to courage 2. I don't know if, I guess it's just to kind of keep them around. You have, I mean,
Yeah,
the
like
problem is
you have to have the capos if you don't have the commander.
but are you really
capo.
going to have, I guess, are you really going to have got that wrong with his image? I'm not sure what's the, oh, maybe there's an error on the gun or something like that. What are we looking at here? Sorry. IG ranges 4 is 2 black, 1 white. Oh, I might just have that. I just have that switched.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Okay, fair enough. Yeah, my bad. I can fix it. I don't know about like your what are you keeping your rebel troopers around with, like in terms of courage bubble? Like Han's gonna be up front, and then Shriv's gonna be up front as well. So you don't really have a courage bubble for your troopers. So do you really care that much about keeping your pikes with the courage bubble? I'm not 100% sure. So
see, I find it fun. Everyone's going off about like the pikes with the capo. That's not what I'm questioning. I think if you have the pikes in here, you have the capo. What I'm questioning is, what's the point of having these pikes in here right now versus just other rebels?
Yeah, that's that. Like, do you take a couple rebel troopers and do you just put like repair bots on them?
Yeah, like repair bots would be good.
Well, especially if you have repair bot in terms of, hey, I can repair IG if I want to keep them at range. I can go repair land speeders. Maybe you put a medic in there. I don't. Yeah, I agree. That's why I'm saying I don't know if the capo. If you're worried about the courage 2, you're not, but you don't aren't seemingly worrying about that for your troopers, and I feel like they're going to be susceptible to the same thing. So I just think that you do that, and I agree. I don't necessarily think the pikes need to fit in there at all. Not with the capo alone. And if you are going to do that, I'd be better off maybe taking naked and just put prepared supplies on like all 5 of these trooper units, just to get that extra dodge in there. Prepared supplies on rebel troopers with nimble is great. So I just think that there's other points to spend in there. So yeah. So if you go,
the rebel repair bot's 8 points. Hey, 8 points for a rebel repair bot.
So if you switched out both those pikes for 48 point units instead of 56, you save yourself 16. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, you can take 4 repair bots and 1 naked rebel.
Yeah,
unit. if you
Um,
without the pikes.
Travis
So
pointing
you
out here, get a couple of strike teams in there. Yep, you could do strike teams
yeah
as well.
you strike teams are 48, so you still save 8 points each. You save 16.
You save
I mean, you
16
can
points, which you could do priority. You can do prepared
two repair bots.
supplies. Well, you could do two. Yes, you could. Or you could do prepared supplies on your rebel troopers. Or you could take
Yeah,
one repair bot and get a couple prepared supplies. There's things to do, but I agree that I'm not sure that the pikes need to fit in. And I don't know if this is just a case of like, hey, everyone's got pikes. I want to take pikes too.
yeah.
I just don't think you're gaining much there. Could you also
No,
take I'm like, I don't know if you need like the field commander like in Shriv. I guess you do like the free token generation, but you could
I think
take
it's just to give the dodge. It's
yeah,
just to give the dodge to
yeah, like
Mando or Han or
yeah.
IG.
Yeah, I doubt it's going to be for Mando if he's not running up there, but definitely probably for Han or IG. So I'll be
Yeah.
okay with that. But you could, and I guess it's better than putting a captain in there. You want to probably stay away from the cheap bounty targets, for sure. So I don't mind that either because I don't think Han's a cheap bounty target by any means. So, yeah, but maybe he could swap that out and get the repair bots. I think that's a good choice there. So. All right, let's slide over the command cards because maybe that'll change a little bit of the stuff. But here's what he did take. Sorry about the mess. This is the way. I like those odds, push, change of plans, and the anti-capture protocols. So there you are, Jace. He did not take a
Yep.
2-pip there for IG-11.
This is exactly what I thought he would take.
Mm-hmm.
You take, or almost exactly. I am surprised he took push. That's the only surprise. But I think you take Mando's 1 and Han's 0 because Han's 0 is just good and Mando's 1 is insane. However, you're taking. Oh, it's tough though because you're taking Mando's 1 for Relentless, but yet you playing him with the Ambien rifle to sit in the back, right? It seems like two different styles, right? Which is why I like running Mando up close with the spear, is because his command cards all focus on him getting close.
Mm-hmm.
Same as his 2-pip, right? He gets an aim token, he gets to perform 2 attack actions, right? Basically gets gunslinger.
Yep.
Doesn't work on the Ambien rifle. You don't get the because it's not an attack action.
Right.
So
Ryan
like
saying
it's interesting.
Ryan
You have
saying
IG's 3-pip because you're required.
Ryan wants that 2-pip for IG. So a machine made for killing, I think, is what you're looking at there. So you get he gets the aim and then demoralize 3 and steady.
I would honestly take turning the tide.
Well, here's what I think.
I would take turning.
I do agree. I like that. I like Jace's option there for 2 reasons. One, you get them onto your land speeders, which have onboard comms, which is then going to proc your other orders, which I think are important. And having the double inspire gets to be Travis's point of, hey, it looks like you're running Han away from this force. If you are, but you have courage bubbles coming off 2 vehicles for your units that are susceptible to potentially getting suppressed in the form of your rebels at the back. Not so much if you took 2 strike teams. I think they'd be okay on their own, but why not have a couple sources of inspire off that turn for that huge like anti-suppression play and still getting 4 orders out and having pretty good bag control in the sense that you might have, multiple troopers left in there. So, yeah. Onboard comms can't. Yeah, I don't.
Yeah,
think,
Shawn Death. I don't.
Yeah, not to.
It can't.
No, not to dinner IG, but I don't think that you. I don't think that you care.
You don't want it on them. You can pass it to someone near them.
Yes, and I think you want to get it on Han for sure. And I think the inspire play is much better. The 2-pip is great. I mean, push is fine, but I think the same premise applies that you want to have control of those land speeders. I think if he doesn't have cards in this army to control his land speeders, I think they're just dead. I think you're just fishing in the bag too much with these Han Solo, Din Solo cards. IG-11, you're going into a bag filled with, at this point, 5 core, another commander, 2 supports, or 2 heavies, I should say. I just don't think he wants to have that bag mystery. And so I like the control cards in both the push and, as Jace pointed out, the turning the tide there. So. But are you giving up? Yeah. Are you giving
Honestly,
up? I like those odds to put another 2-pip in. Or are you just gonna have to pick push or turning the tide?
If his whole plan is to use the Ambien rifle, Yeah, I would take IGs and turning the tide over these two pips. But I mean, it all depends on what his use of the ambient rifle is going to be, right? Is he planning on using it a lot, or is he wanting it just for situations? But then if he's, planning on using Din's 1 and 2 pip command cards, which usually require him to get within range 2,
Mm-hmm.
having a spear with, so you can have double pierce and like a 7-die pool
Mm-hmm.
with surge crit. I think Din's surge crit, but I can't remember. With relentless on one turn to get in. I mean, it's pretty good.
Yeah. So do you think the
Yeah,
biggest thing
Jake's
is
pretty
there?
much got what I got. 2 pikes for 2 strikes.
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, yeah, I was swapping the rifle for the spear and the repair rod. I was just seeing that on there. So your big thing is that you think the
And
rifle
tenacity.
needs to go, and he needs to go spear option in this particular build.
I think. See, I'm fine with the rifle. Either way, he has to hold IG or Din back, right? He's only got 2 land speeder slots, and Han is taking one of them.
Mm-hmm.
The problem here comes if you're going to hold Din back, I don't think you take his 1 or 2 pip command cards, right? You have 3 characters, you've already got command card overload.
Mm-hmm.
If Din's going to be your guy who sits in the back, you don't take his cards because you want the cards for the people who are up front and who either need the orders to get out there or are able to proc their abilities, right? Because if Din's sitting at it range infinite procking these, it's not going to do much. IG, on the other hand, in a land speeder, it's a lot easier to get to range 2 and just start blasting people down if he's the one going up front.
Is there a world where you is there a world where you could drop the pikes and bring in a second commander in the form of like bringing in Lando, where you could get contingencies in this list
You
where
could. You drop an act, but you could.
you do drop an act, but do you have? Oh, let me just span these guys real quick.
Yep.
Goodbye.
Get the bot out of here.
Yeah. Do you gain a little bit from that in the terms of you aren't making as many hard cuts and maybe many other choices where you have options?
I'm going to say the other thing, too, that we haven't mentioned is that if you drop the pikes, you also gain the 5 points of Underworld Connections back.
That is
which
true.
Could be used on Vigilance, which you get because you have Shriv handing out dodges.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Oh man, I don't think Ryan people care about 4 characters. I think that's like a old mentality. Are you playing Legion where people don't
Yeah.
have multiple characters? Like, I mean, seriously. Look at the last week's list where we have Jin, Jin, Leia, Sabine. You got all kinds of characters out there. So I think that's gone by the wayside. So
Oh wait, I lied. You still need Underworld Connections.
yeah, because Din and IG. Yeah,
Yep,
that's
yep.
what I was gonna say. I think
Whoops.
you need that Underworld.
Missed
for
that.
Yeah.
Yep.
But I don't know. There's 10x, 9x, the ability to take the cards if the cards matter. There's a lot of changes you can make in it for sure. What if you drop the pikes and take full commando teams? Full commando teams?
Ryan's just trying to like make a rebel player lose now, is what he's doing.
I don't know about full commando teams. I was just going on the conversation of if you're having to make choices with your command cards, do you bring in a guy that can help you out on that front? I mean, it's another sharpshooter 2 unit with range 1 to 3. You got a courage bubble of 2. He can be a backfield commander that keeps things around. In the form of your rebel troopers. It's an option there, but it'd be a comfort level. He could also. I don't think you'd want him in a land speeder, but there's options there. But sticking with as is, not adding any more characters in, and the rifle seemingly is the choice. If that's all,
he's $7.99. Hey,
he is currently. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of wiggle unless you drop the pikes and then start building back up from there. So I don't think he wants to drop too many upgrades on his units.
No, definitely not.
Yeah, and he's got the gonk on the 1 land speeder. He could go unstable on both. I mean, he's got a really fast land speeder in the X-34 with the unstable. I don't know if he's using it for a shoot or for the triple the quad move. But that one can get places really really fast, or better yet, get out of places if need be. So there is options there. But I think in primary suggestions, we're thinking that the pikes may go keep everything as is and kind of move on from there. Let's have a look at the objectives that he has. And people seem to be torn on this rifle. I haven't played Din or against Din enough to know, and I don't even know what my style would be. Probably would be not to take characters, but that's
Sean's style. Don't take Din in the first place.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's good. I want to play
Who are
him.
you,
I want
Ryan?
to try him out.
Who
but
are you, Ryan?
I just don't know which the best build for him. I like the land speeders a lot in this list because I think that's something I can get behind for sure. And he has a threat that's very fairly timing neutral if he has control over them. Because I think he has a couple turns where he can have control over them. And I love the change of plans actually helping. I'm just jumping back here real quick. I love the change of plans card.
Yeah.
Actually being able to come out and be played as another control for the land speeders. So you have kind of two options there. You get, I'm going to have timing control over the land speeders, or I'm going to change the plans there. Which is fantastic. I like both of those. I think Sorry About the Mess on Han is super critical for sure, especially if he is going to bury him deep.
100%.
And Han going off in the back lines, on a last first kind of thing, if he can get that or set up nearly to a last first. I really like that play, especially where he can drop a land speeder, and depending which one he's in, he could go for that huge 4-move play. And then Sorry About the Mess, and then straight out Han right away, and be nowhere near where he started. So I do like that a lot. So let's have a look at the objectives here as we plow through the cards. He's got Breakthrough. Seems to be a good choice with the list. If he wanted to play a turn 6 game, he could just drop 4 units in the backfield at a whim. So feels really really good. What do you think about Recover in the list?
You have a Mando with a jetpack, but I'm not sure because your Mando's not really built that way. You do have fast movers, right? So you can chase down a center box grabber very fast, quickly as well.
Yeah.
I don't mind it. I don't mind it as much as I mind Vaps in this list.
Okay, go ahead. Go to Vaps, and then I'll tell you what I think is missing from this list in terms of an objective. Go ahead. Why don't you like Vaps?
I think I know exactly what you think is missing, but I don't like Vaps in this list because you have 2 fast units that have compulsories that want to move around and get in close, and you're probably going to lose the land speeders at some point during the game.
Okay. And so
if you're blue and you're playing Vaps, the whole thing is the skill points. If you lose both land speeders, that's 210 points.
I'm not going to say payload, Travis. I'm not going to say payload. I am going to say that I think key positions is missing in this list.
Yep.
Because
I knew you were going to say key positions.
There is no world in a KP mission where I want to have somebody, and this is why I think the bikes are fantastic. In Blizzard Force, etc., anything that can basically bring speeders in mass right now. Where you can feel safe about what you're dedicating to your back point. You got a land speeder that just brings another unit on that can basically jump out, and let's say a Han, let's say you're back capping with 2 strike teams, and you bring a land speeder in, and Han jumps out and is like, boom, boom, erase.
Gone.
And now you're like, okay, well, I can't leave them back there. I need to leave more plus. Right. So now you're not dedicating a large portion of your force to go get a back KP at all. So I love this for KP for all kinds of reasons. I do love the fact that you can put a large base onto a KP point, and cover a substantial amount. I do love that you can strike a KP point from range. I do love that you can strike a KP point from range and have some units inside that can pop out and also help you to cap that. Maybe not on that particular turn, but you're no more than 2 turns away from doing that. So I think KP needs to go in there for sure. And I think,
Oh yeah.
if, as Jace said, maybe you just drop that VAP, and you got a couple weak troopers in there too. So if you have any ability to be threatened yourself, somebody's got speeders or something that can get back and get to your soft bellied units. You don't want to bleed those points. So I don't think he's going to be. Well, shouldn't say. Who knows? He may find himself in a blue position. Let's just assume that we are, because we're talking about his deck.
I mean, I've played 800 the past 3 Friday night fights
For
and
sure.
won a coin
Yeah.
flip for blue every time.
Yeah, it can definitely happen. What do you think about intercept in this list with having the speeders?
That's the other
as well?
one that I was like, ooh, I'm not sure about, because, like you said, your core is weak.
Mm-hmm.
There are only 3 men except for the pikes, which are 5.
Yep.
You're already down to only 8 scoring acts because the speeders don't count.
Mm-hmm. Do you think this list could play hostage exchange?
I think this list could play hostage exchange pretty well. I think you want to avoid it if you run into a force user against you, but I think besides that, it's not bad.
Yeah, I'm just looking at and
I
Travis
do also think bombing run would work.
100%. I think though what happens with bombing run and why people don't take it is they feel that if they don't have 3 things that can take a bomb, they don't want to take bombing run. But I think the opposite.
But he does. He does have 3 things.
Yep. So
he
go
does
ahead.
Have 3
elaborate
things.
Your point.
Because he's got his land speeders. Yep. And he's got speed 3 din with the jetpack.
100%. No, right? I'm there with you.
Carry a bomb.
What I'm getting at is I think that when
3 turns, Din's there.
When people identify that you don't have 3 of the same good bomb carrier, they don't feel that you can play bombing run. And I think that's just, and I've heard and I've seen people just avoid that because, well, you have 3 things on the other side, so I'm not going to play that too. But if you have 3 equally fast or durable things that can make that happen, I think it's a great choice to take in there. I think that he could. I think you could easily find yourself dropping intercept in this. I think you could find yourself dropping sabotage and taking bombing run and taking KP in this list. And I don't think you'd be found wanting. So,
exactly.
Yeah. And Striker pointing out that he has
Striker's right, because he's got double bounty.
He does, and this is the thing. Think about it. When you're playing some of those missions, right, with a bombing run as a 3-pointer, a 1-point bounty is huge. You're playing a KP, 3 points of potential.
Yeah.
A 1-point bounty is huge. You're playing recover. Oftentimes it's going to be decided. Yeah, and recover is going to be decided. Yeah, it could be for sure. And recover might be one of those things where it's like 2 and 2 and you're playing for the middle point. But if you can pressure the middle point and while doing that, also potentially pressure your bounty, there's the ability there as well. So I think that I don't want to have anything high scoring in my list at all. Travis is pointing out intercept. That's anything that's going to be high scoring, I think you want to take that out. And the problem with VAPs to me is VAPs sometimes becomes that game where you feel like you've got it secured and you can make one sort of play that sort of doesn't go your way or you overextend and somebody slips through your lines and now you're playing catch up. And I really hate that about SAB, especially if you get in a situation where a force user, because they can come in and just make all kinds of havoc for you. And you, as you said, you don't really have the ability to keep sustained pressure. You have the ability to bring pressure, but then you kind of have to cycle back around, or you have to sort of move your soft units out for a turn and sort of recalibrate. So, here we
got
go.
Another bot to get rid of.
Awesome. Yeah, it's so popular tonight. Goodbye. Yeah, goodbye. So I think we've suggested what our options could be there. Brian can take that as he will. Now, let's move into the deployments. Now we'll take this with a grain of we'll both consider what he had as well as some things that we think that he could add in terms of some suggestions that we've made. So let's have a look what he has. Advanced positions, rollout, long march, major offensive. Now keep in mind, I know we just saw this, but this is what he had. Breakthrough, recover, intercept, and SAB.
Yeah. The first thing I see here is where's battle lines.
Well, I also see that if you're gonna run like box grab and breakthrough, like, are you okay to take a
Yeah.
hemmed in? Like, hemmed in for box
Yeah.
grab feels
Hemmed
real
in
good.
would. Oh yeah.
And then hemmed in for breakthrough, I kind of like
Yep.
because you have the 2 zones that you can go to.
Exactly.
So, Travis asking, where's danger close? All right, let's work it this way. Is there anything in here, given what he has, that you don't like? I don't like that he has rollout and doesn't have KP. Because I'd really like to get that early pressure on a KP point.
Yeah.
And you could potentially secure, because I feel rollout puts the KP positions sometimes not in great spots for you. Because you want to sort of deploy on the front edge to get your advantage, but then you're picking KP on your back edge, and you typically don't strong deploy there. You weak deploy there because you think, I'm going to be good for those. I'll be fine in these positions. But he's got the army that can exploit that exactly. He can go on his strong side, the closest side, and really exploit that advantage early.
The thing with rollout too, though, is he can deploy those speeders like so much farther.
Yep.
And like he can pretty much deploy his speeders on his KP if he wants.
Do you think he has the list that can play disarray?
I think so. I mean, most of these guys are giving orders to themselves.
Mm-hmm. Do you like that he has
his only card that issues? Go ahead.
I was just going to say, do you like that he has Long March and Breakthrough? I guess the Breakthrough, he's kind of hedging that his opponent has to go a long way and he's going to be faster to get there. I just think that that's one of those things where...
It also means he's going to be faster to die.
Well, I was just going to think, I think that's one of those things where your play to get in the end zone can be late, but at that point, has your opponent marched in mass towards yours? And then do you have enough to kind of trade off? Because what are you going to engage midfield with him that you are prepared to lose that's not going to be also advantageous for scoring? The problem with his list is his offensive units are also his potential scorers in a bombing run, in a breakthrough, in a threatening KP in the back. So he can't really throw them away. So I don't like the fact that he's got to go a long way there. I'm okay with major offensive because I think major offensive is a pretty safe deployment in most cases. Danger close, I'm not in disagreement with that.
Honestly, I've yet to see a deck that hasn't taken it.
Yeah. But I would maybe swap out Long March and get hemmed in this one. But I don't like VAPs in hemmed in, because a force user is seemingly on you and messing with you for the whole game. So I think you take that off. I think you take that out of the equation. I don't think I mind box grab.
Yeah.
Because I think you are in a better position.
You start so close to the box.
Yep, you are. Yeah, exactly. And I think you really...
Din can pick up turn one.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. I like that better. But I think I just drop Long March, do those objective switches that we said, and feel okay about it. Yeah. All right, let's get into this one before we finish up that, and maybe we'll get a few minutes of round table because we've had a good chat tonight. You guys have been being very helpful for us. Okay, so here's what we have, and this is the one that I sometimes matter the least. Sometimes some decks matter it the most, but Minefield, Fortified, Clear, and Supply drop.
I actually like this set the best. Like, Fortified is great. It keeps your weak little rebels in the back safe, right? Supply drop. Supply drop's maybe the interesting choice, but I have one other option that I'd like over supply drop.
Okay, what are you thinking?
But you do also have a lot of weak rebels that can.
You do, yeah.
What am I thinking instead?
Mm-hmm.
You could go limited viz.
Mm-hmm. As I'm also thinking lim viz very strongly right now.
Yeah. Clear is fine. It's a safe one. I like the minefield play because the land speeders don't set off the minefields. Mm-hmm. And your rebels can dodge up and dodge the minefields. And then your opponent has to deal with it. So I really enjoy the minefield play in here.
I'll tell you where are you putting limited visibility, and I'll tell you where I'm going to put mine. If you're going to swap out something here.
I would swap supply drop.
Okay, and so I'm dropping clear, and here's why. I'm
You're
dropping
clear.
I'm
That's
dropping
my second choice.
I'm dropping clear because clear is too safe for both players to just feel comfortable enough to not have to worry about the conditions row. Where it's like if you cancel one to get to clear, they're unlikely going to waste a cancel there, and they're like, I'm fine with that. And if you don't like the one pass, or if they don't like the one pass clear, they're definitely not canceling clear to get to the worst case scenario. So you're not really making them have to make a choice in the condition slot if clear is the safe choice, and I don't know really a lot of armies that don't. If their army also benefits from limited visibility and they want to cancel a clear to get to that, you then make a choice whether you're going to get rid of a limited to put them back on something potentially awkward, as opposed to falling into their limited visibility. But if you feel you play well with that, they're actually helping you get to a potential good condition for you as well. So I think you take clear out of the equation because I don't want to give anybody a free pass to not have to look at the conditions row. So that's kind of my
fair. Yep.
That's my play
I
there.
like that.
I don't dislike any of the others. I think supply drop is if I play CIS, I don't take supply drop. I don't like it. I cancel away from it because I always feel it benefits everybody better than droids. They're dying anyway. Doesn't matter if you give me a dodge, you're going to hit me for a gazillion anyway. I'm going to dodge one and still die. So I generally don't bother with that, and I take my own heals. I don't wait for the arc welders. So that's my choice for CIS. But in Rebels, I agree with Travis. They like their presence. I think clones like presence. I think everyone likes presence out of supply drop with the exception of CIS. So I don't hate that. You've already covered off why he takes minefield. Fortified is just generally good. I think giving heavy cover and strategic heavy cover, specifically if you have like KP, box grab, breakthrough, because you kind of have a path that you're going to move your way through, and then potentially even a bombing run if you need it. I do kind of like bombing runs sometimes to put barriers in the way of my opponent if they're using trooper-based carriers, just to slow the bomb carriers down. So there's that. So, but don't hate any of that. So there you go, Bryant. That's all of our insight on that. Hopefully that's good for you. Just recapping, I think we'd probably drop clear and get limited in there. Long March, I think we're in agreement that maybe you can get hemmed in there as a potential play. We're not so sold on moisture vaps. Probably definitely dropping intercept just because I think there's too many points and bounties too key in most missions. Intercept can sometimes have that skew where bounty's not going to be enough to make up a difference or matter if your opponent thinks he can outscore you. So maybe dropping in bombing run would be potentially our choice there. And then we also suggested KP. I think you have the ability to threaten certainly a middle KP, but definitely a back KP as well. So awesome. All right, Jace, hit a little round table before we're finished here, or what?
You bet.
Okay, let me finish off the folks that we haven't hit here. So I want to thank Dice Time, Ben and Paul over at Dice Time for helping us out with the additional content, the shares out on social media. Those are great, as well as the alt arts that you guys have been the beneficiaries of. We're also going to welcome Corvus Terrain in January, so only a few short months, so we want to give shout-outs to them as well. Welcome to the team. Who else do we have? We have to thank, this guy here. That's the studio here. This is where we make the content. This is where we do the stuff. This is where we broadcast from. So just a shout out there. It's a selfish plug. If you want to help us out in the studio for anything that we do, if you guys enjoy our content, the trainstudio2019 at gmail.com. You can do a monetary donation there. Anything helps. If you want to support and get something back, you guys can go join the Train Studio on Patreon. That is also very beneficial. Thank you very much. As well, our last Gamers Grass, as I mentioned, we have some stuff to give away through maybe the Patreon, as well as giveaways that we have throughout the year. We've done some stuff already. I want to thank them. They actually had a giveaway contest themselves on Facebook just last week, so go sub their page on Facebook. They're always doing giveaways and various things, so you guys don't have to wait for us. You can go check them out directly at gamersgrass.com. So, all right, let's hit the roundtable. Okay, Jason are
Oh,
back
yeah.
for episode 146. We got some roundtable topics for tonight. We'll go no more than 20 minutes because I'd like to get upstairs at some point. Discussion topics for tonight are Fear the Mighty, whatever you want to put in there. You got a bus pass, so talk about your experiences both with and for and against buses. And all things and what you guys think about them. I think they're fantastic. I really actually like the bus. As for a unit that I had no Star Wars knowledge of at all, I'm really glad it's in the game. How I tournament prep.
Oh,
So
yeah.
if you want to give both tips or just general things that you do to prep for tournaments, let us know. Do you prep at all? Do you take in a list you haven't played before? Do you have to get like 4,000 reps in with it? Are you taking all your models to the tournament and making your list the day of? Are you that guy, or are you the guy that makes it last minute, forgets half of the components, and then needs to borrow all the things? Or maybe you are the guy that just you have your worlds list packed in a bag by your door and are ready to go now. So let us know about that. And then we want to know on December 30th, where will you be? We want to know if you're going to be here with us, if you're going to be in Barbados, if you are going to be somewhere else, if you are going to be doing something on December 30th other than being on the holiday giveaway show. Shame on you, but we do want to hear that. And if you're going to be with us, we want to hear that as well. So let's open up the phone lines. We reserve the right to kick you out if we have future callers. That goes to you, Ryan. 20 minutes on the clock, not Ryan's clock. 20 minutes on the clock for roundtable. So we'll cycle through as many folks as possible. Link is in the chat. All right. Jace, you're running roundtable tonight. It's all you.
All right.
You're running the whole thing.
Oh, you bet.
I'm just going to be contributing, and that's it. You're running all the things.
All right, gotcha. I've got my quiz notes ready. People are not going to be happy that you've given me this opportunity.
We got 2 callers already, and I will let you know if you guys see the boxes are all full. Just hold your calls, and we'll get you guys in. There we go. Let me jump over here.
If one of these is Ryan, I am picking the questions for him.
Hey, he comes in as you know who it is. There he is.
Sweet.
Hey, is it all just me, or is Ryan's hair different every time he comes on the show?
Wait, I can't even tell if Ryan has hair in this one.
Well, it's
sweet. We get to do the podcast now.
No, you guys are limited on your time. All right, go ahead.
Okay, so my specialized question for Ryan is, Ryan, what actions can be taken against CRA as a result of a reassess? No, okay, pick your actual question.
Oh, hold on, wait.
Oh,
wait.
Sean, you got another bot.
Man, we are so popular tonight.
Right? All the bots.
All right. So how I tourney prep? I mean, usually I go in knowing what I'm gonna run. But as
it's
Sean
the same list for the past
here,
3 years.
Yeah, basically, yeah. But as Sean mentioned, we talked on. I think it was last night, or no, it was Sunday. And I'm like, dude, I got no idea what I'm going to run. I got like 2 lists I'm working on right now. So I got a tournament out in Cedar Rapids, Iowa next weekend. Trying to, get back in the tourney scene. So, I mean, but yeah, usually I'm like, all right, I'm going to run this, but seeing as there hasn't been really any true tournament data, and this is a new area that I've never been to, and I have no idea what their local meta looks like.
Pikes.
It's a little interesting. Yeah, and yeah, I'm assuming a lot of pikes. I was told, yeah, there should be some Shadow Collective. There might be Echo Base. So I'm just like, all right, well, let's just go and play some Legion. And then on December 30th, Frank and I will be kicking off the podcast live
to direct compete with the holiday special.
No,
wow.
We'll be doing it on the holiday special.
Oh, okay, gotcha. I mean, Zach, that's probably not a bad thing. I'm not sure if that's a complaint in chat or if Zach's like, I can barely hear Ryan. Everyone else is fine. And he's also good with that. I'm not quite sure what he means.
Zach, there are reasons for this.
Yeah. Okay, well, we look forward to you kicking off your podcast episode. Frank, as the co-host of that show, are you equally as happy?
Well, it happens to be my wife's birthday that day, so we'll have to play it by ear, see what we're going to do. I might just have to buy her something real nice to kind of make up for it. But
there you go.
Yeah, I'm happy to start it.
Okay.
It's fine. Whatever. We're good.
Okay, fantastic.
But yeah, the 30th is probably when I'm starting the full on your project. So that's when I get big. So I'll probably be painting your stuff while I'm watching the stream. So
Okay. Well, remember, everybody's eligible to win, except for Ryan. But Ryan's wife can win, so that'll be fine. That's
I'll let her know.
Yeah, for sure. So, okay, well, that's what's happening. All right, Frank, what other topic are you going to touch on there? You got anything for us?
Yeah, I mean, my tournament prep's kind of nuts. Usually when I go to tournaments, it's like a 5-month thing. Usually I design a list probably for about 2-3 weeks, and then I literally don't care if it sucks. I just play it for 5 months straight and see how it goes. I'm a planner, so that's just the way I work. So, but yeah, some people aren't that crazy. I know some people like Ben can just kind of walk into a tournament with what they've got in their pockets and do well. But it freaks me out. So I have to spend a lot of time on it. So I really got to plan my tournaments. So as of right now, I'm already planning for Adepticon. So
okay,
it's fun.
All right, and are you playing Adepticon Legion though, or are you playing something else at Adepticon?
Nah, something else.
Okay, gotcha.
What are you playing at Adepticon?
You don't want to know.
Do you want me to say Middle Earth?
No.
He's playing Warhammer.
I am. I'm playing 40K.
Okay, he's playing some 40K.
Jace, I won't have all my hobbits painted by then. That is the only reason why. If I had all my hobbits painted by then, I'd be playing Middle Earth. But you know how Adepticon is. When I was
looking at making it to Adepticon, I was looking at like doing Legion and then being like, all right, which days can I not have a heat so I can play Middle Earth?
Jason, if you play Middle Earth, I'll play Middle Earth with you.
I would, but I can't make it to Adepticon.
He can't. I will say this. 3 out of the 4 people on this screen right now will potentially be rooming at Adepticon, and the after episodes may or may not be scarring to our audience. So looking forward to that. I think Ben's also going to join us as well. So it could be exceptionally interesting. It'd be really good if we all went and played something else. So I'll be playing. I'll be the Legion representative for sure.
Ryan's got to go pick something different.
Pog or something. He'll play something like that. So
X-Wing.
Yeah, Ben will be playing
he'll play Magic or something.
Ben will be playing like Funko Pop, something Funko Pop.
Yeah,
so
there you go.
Yeah, so it'll be all good. So I put the link up there. If you guys want to call in, go ahead. I can make room. So
I'm getting into Conquest recently, so I can do that.
Conquest? Okay.
Yeah, I've been wanting to do that.
Okay, I don't even know what Conquest is, so
it's a rank and file game.
I'll slide into your DMs. Don't worry.
That never seems to precede anything good, but okay.
Yeah, no, thank you.
Fantastic. All right, well, perfect. All right, well, we'll leave the calls up if anybody wants to hit in on this. Otherwise, we're going to let these guys prattle on for the next 12 minutes. But Ryan, when we were talking about lists, you and I were getting into that little bit of a pike conversation. We didn't cycle back around fully to that, but where are you guys landing on the ultimate build for pikes? I know that each one is more cost prohibitive than the next, but do you think you need to be running both the capo and the disruptor to get full value out of the pikes, or can you go right down to bare bones pikes and still find value with them? Because I'm running 2 with priority supply or prepared supplies. I will say in 6 games, I've not lost a single pike model or had to use my prepared supplies once in them. And they've actually done all the back capping that I ever needed to do with the absolute cheapest amount of points possible. And I'm back capping with 3. So that I can just basically say, you can't come back here in any amount of force, and I'm bringing everything to the middle. So I'm playing like a 2-point KP game, or I'm playing a 2-point intercept game, or intercept's not obviously great for me because I need to really bully off the middle, but I feel like I'm able to secure with very few points in my pikes, and they don't have to be out there shooting.
I mean, I think you answered your own question right there, because I think it just depends on what you want to do. Like, you're running naked pikes basically, yeah?
100% naked.
Yeah, and they're just back capping. I've seen guys locally now, they're just running capo with the disruptor. I think it's overkill if you run the capo disruptor and then have the capo commander itself. I think that's a little
I haven't seen anybody go full. Like I haven't like disruptor and pikes basically, and then capo disruptor and the pike unit. Like that's the most. But like some guys are running a few upgrades on them. But like I think the disruptor on the pike unit is good, but I feel like it just puts it out there a little bit too much, where it's like now it's susceptible to the suppression game and it's good at range, but you're potentially losing actions or running away because you don't have that courage bubble. Now you're investing in the bumping the courage bubble, but now I think you're just over investing in the pike units.
And I think when people do that, I don't think they're building lists with Inspire. Like one of my lists I have like anywhere between Inspire 5 to Inspire 7, but I don't have any pikes in them, just because they just feel stale to me, and the way I play the game, I just feel like there's so much better that I can have. But I think that's the problem is little angry triangles are starting to make a comeback again. Not a lot of people are thinking Inspire is worth it anymore, which, I mean, this is starting to become a action-based game of how many actions can I get out of this one unit, and
Yep.
if you're
I
running,
vote the
like,
whip.
oh, the whip. See, yeah,
Yeah.
and that's another thing is like burst of speed became a thing, and it's slowly phased out. But I'm starting to notice either FFG at the time or currently AMG, they're trying to pump out immobilized tokens right now, and again slowing everything down to where everything was now Fast and the Furious to now it's Tortoise in the Hare almost like. So I think it just depends on the build along with that too.
Are you thinking pike whips back caps, or are you thinking
No.
offensively with pike
No,
whips?
see, yeah, I mean, I play Sisters for 40K. I play I love running in and hitting hard. So the way I play games, I play it with Din, and I'm going to be playing Damio Boba and stuff like that. So yeah, I play with Whip and Capo just to make sure that my movement isn't hindered with the Capo in there. I have my dodges, I have my surges, and then I go in real heavy. And the whips actually worked out really well with the immobilize. And then obviously I've got the whip on Boba as well. So it usually the item that usually is going to hinder me from running in is usually stopped by a lot of immobilized. So whatever it is, usually the only thing I can't really deal with as easily is vehicles. But usually by the time I'm in there in the mix, from what I've seen, because there is kind of a meta way to play Legion right now, and most people aren't ready for your entire force to be in the middle of the table within turn one. So that's kind of how I play it. Sometimes it works terribly, but very few times. Usually it's like 80-20, where 20% of the time somebody's like, yeah, I know what you're doing, and then can handle it. But someone like you, Shawn, would actually do really well against it because you're methodical and you usually stay back in your deployment zone. But if other people aren't ready for that, then I found the whips have been really good, and they're cheaper, so I can get a more well-rounded list with other things like putting in an Imperial officer with my fleet troopers and stuff like that. And I've found that the Grime Syndicate stuff has really kind of brought that fifth trooper back, and I love running 6-man squads and stuff like that a lot more. Just being methodical about it, not just throwing in some random crap, but actually thinking about what you're doing and the synergies behind it. I found it to be fun, and I'm usually running 9-10 activations. So
I've been playing my list right now. I think the most effective, it's like it wants to all arrive in the middle, but on turn 5. It wants to do nothing until turn 5, 6, because everything about that list is just shutting down those late turn actions. I know that actions across the game are all equivalent, but you will have a hard time convincing me that your first move out of your deployment zone is the equivalent of your last move to touch the middle point. I know that they're equivalent in the sense that they're each an action, but the ability to make that last move versus to make that first move is way different. So I'm really trying to find ways of mitigating actions through the game and making it key actions that you're taking away. So
And yeah,
I think that's how my list is trying to operate, and it's a little bit different because it's definitely like a sit back, but it has the ability to sort of, like, I have two buses that have my big guys in it that you really can't hit, so you can't really weaken them until they get out, and then you can blow them up. But they hit also hard when they come out, and they come out when they want to, not because you forced them. In terms, I haven't been can opener yet. Um, the other units are really fast and they can kind of strike from a distance. And I think those bikes are nice because they have not a huge range. They're not a 1 to 3 range. They'd be awesome if they were 1 to 3. But that 1 to 2 range is okay because my whole army basically is hitting at that 1 to 2 range. So I might be a turn slower than like a Blizzard Force in terms of like having to roll onto a back objective or to roll to the middle. But I think when I get there, I'm a little bit better because of comms jammer, overrun, and shots, and as well as demoralize. So I think though that what you're talking about is the slowing down with the whips, the taking away of the actions with the suppression. That is the game right now. That is definitely the game right now. And I think that's why Commander Vader's stock for me has gone way up in the sense of the fear factor. I think that anyone who can get around suppression, take off suppression, or mitigate suppression, taking away actions is king right now. All of that, it feels real good.
Yeah, when you make your initial charge, you have to make it count. If it's not feasible to do in turn 1, don't do it. That's kind of how I play it. But turn 2, turn 3, get in there. But yeah, I mean, with all the immobilized and having two flamer units in that list that move at speed 3, jump 1, crazy melee potential, and then you're dealing with those two guys on top of you having a full 6-man squad, 2 full 6-man fleet troopers, 2 6-man squads of capo and whips, and obviously I'm trying to play objectives that will cater to it, and same with deployments. But really, I don't have to worry about Din and Bulbul staying around my units either, because everybody pretty much has an officer with the unit. So it's worked out so far really well. Like I said, if you know it's coming, it's a little hard to get off. But right now, the way the game's playing is basically I can make your units that are supposed to hit hard not even move, and pretty much kind of control the board with the threat saturation is usually what I'm trying to do. But they're difficult threat saturation, not like 8B1s kind of crap,
Yeah, that's the invasion force is a bit of a problem in the sense that it has a lot. It can really saturate with bodies, so there is that. But I think like things like and Ryan, you were kind of fitting them into your list too, and I faced them recently in a few games. Is, man, the stock of flamer snowtroopers has gone so high with Blizzard Force. They are scary with the spur, with the command cards, and, in terms of putting out the suppressive attacks, obviously backed up by the heavy response, the response units. No joke for sure. Hey Ryan, before we jump off here, why don't you talk a little bit about, because this was I'm not suggesting that this is, you can't do it, but you were building a Blizzard Force list with no heavy response units, and I was. And I was a little bit like, I was like, I don't know. But I mean, explain your logic. Obviously, you had some there, so.
Idiot.
So my original,
yeah, pretty much.
Honestly, so my original list, so if you know me, I don't run anything below 12 acts ever on what it is. It's just my play style. So I had originally Veers, an imp officer, 3 flamers, all with an imp officer and sonic imploders. I did have heavy response in that, and then I had a naked.
You'll notice eventually.
Snowtrooper, and then I had 4 E-webs. Yeah, I had 4 of those guys, and I'm playing it out, and it felt good, but it felt a little sluggish. So I was like, okay, maybe I need to look at bikes. So I swapped out 2 E-webs for 2 bikes, but I'm overpointing.
What?
I'm like,
whoa,
crap. Yeah, I know. It's
what
weird.
just happened? Are you serious? You took out E-webs?
See, he half listened to last week's episode when I said, look at E-webs, move immediately away from E-webs. So he's half there. He went back.
Half there.
Yeah, he went back.
E-webs are
So then I
sluggish?
was-
I've never heard this, dude. I mean, you've got to explain.
Well, no, like it felt sluggish with them because usually they don't.
Yeah, no
when
shit.
I-
They only
when I
move
run
like,
'em.
what, 0?
Funny. So when I made this swap, I was over on points, and I was like, okay, I can't run the heavy response with what I got, and I like my triple flamers. So I went with basic stormtroopers and put on the T-21 because I feel like that's one of the better guns on stormtroopers. Just naturally surging to hit, but then having that critical too.
Is that legal?
Yeah, it is because they can have 0 to 2 stormtroopers.
Oh, do they? I thought it was. I thought they had to have like
sub-profile is
0 2
heavy
ordnance
response.
and then just flame troopers.
Nah. So when building
Okay.
it says stormtroopers, and then like
Okay,
every
yeah,
part
that's
has that subtext. The heavy response is part of that subtext. So I did that,
Yeah.
tried it out, and it felt good. But then talking with Shawn, he's like, "Where your heavy response?" I was like, "Yeah, that's the other thing because what that list wants to do, it wants to slow your opponent down and just bog them down with suppression." So rebuilding it, I was like, man, I really like having this Inspire 5 in there. I've retweaked it, put that heavy response back in because I mean, there's 2 different ways to go about it, getting the full potential of Debark for ground assault. Yeah, it's nice when I have those 3 flamers because I could just give them the orders and spur them in. But also, it's that I look at that second part, which is big for me, is every weapon gets suppressive. So
Yeah,
I can
the
split
triple
3
split fire.
different die pools.
Yeah.
Which is huge when you can hit with all 3.
Yes.
It kind of sucks when you don't. I mean, you're rolling 4 whites with those E11s, and you're like,
Yeah, but if you take an aim with that unit, make that your first shot. Spend the aim in there if you need to with precise so now it's 7 white.
Yeah.
To try to proc a surge or a hit. 7 for a surge and a hit. To get a hit. The odds are in your favor there. More so. So you have that with the aim, and then your other 2 die pools are reliable enough that you should be hitting. So
which it's just one of those things of part of it is timing, to where they need to get an aim. I mean, it's a 3 pip, but sometimes you're like, man, I really need this unit to go first. I don't have a name. I need to spur them. So, I mean, I'm going to try it out this weekend a couple times, see how I feel about it. Otherwise, I'm running triple dewbacks next weekend, which how much I'm hearing Den is becoming a thing, and guys are taking his Beskar spear. Like, I've felt that melee pool, because after a while you're like, oh, it's not that much, but then you forget, oh, he's got a freaking vibro knife that it doesn't feel good, and it kind of hurts a bit. So it's just dealing a bit with that.
I'm having mailer's remorse right now. As much as I absolutely love that Frank is painting my Empire, there's a tournament on the 20th, and we've been talking a ton, like in studio, on screen, behind screen, side chats about Blizzard Force. I'm like, man, that 20th tournament would have been fantastic. So Frank, if you want to go ahead and just get that army done and here by the 20th of November, that'd be real great. Because
on a Sunday.
Yeah, the ones in Saskatoon are always on Sundays. Yeah, they just. What do you mean? Like you guys only use 6 days of the week there? You guys can't do anything on the 7th, or what's going on?
No, all our tournaments down here. I've never had a 1-day tournament on a Sunday. It's usually a Saturday.
Oh, I've had so many 1-day tournaments on a Sunday from multiple gaming systems.
Yeah,
Sundays are for drinking down here.
Yeah,
fair enough.
Why would you be hungover for work the next day?
Why would you be tired from playing?
No. Drink Saturday night, then go to the tournament Sunday morning, play it off, and then go home and sleep.
He was talking about Kool-Aid, by the way, just for the listeners at home. But
no,
Ryan, do you know what our Sunday tournaments look like?
Doesn't count?
No, what? Honestly, I'm very interested.
3-hour drive up.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Play the tournament. 3-hour drive home.
See,
isn't that your closest neighbor 3 hours away?
That's where that's where I play most of our tournaments. So yeah,
weekend,
not neighbor, but yes.
So next week, Justice is coming up on Friday night.
I thought Justice was going to come into roundtable so he can give his synopsis of our game.
So was I. I was hoping for
that.
that.
What's up with that, eh?
Little does he, spoiler, I'm feeding him. He's spending the night at my place Friday night, and then we're leaving my place at like 5:30 to drive 4 hours to this tournament.
Yeah.
And then we're taking another player that I don't know why I keep doing this, but I created a monster basically.
So the 7-year-old kid that Ryan beat up the previous week is now literally his bigger brother, who's 15, is a monster.
No, it's this other kid in my local area who told me he wants to play competitively. So I'm like, all right, screw it, and I've helped him build this.
How old is he? Sorry, how old is he? Okay, I was 16. Way off. 16.
Yeah, you were way off. Yeah, so the three of us.
Did you have to sign a consent form?
He's basically his legal guardian.
Criminal record check.
Yeah, it's funny you ask. You say that, Jace, because the federal government actually has my prints because, well, I don't know if it's the same. I'm sure Shawn knows why. I don't know if it's the same in Canada, but being an educator, they're like, well, we need your prints. I'm like, oh, all right, okay.
Reluctantly, he's like, oh, geez, I shouldn't have chewed off all these fingernails.
Yeah, I know.
These fingertips.
Find out that time I knocked down 3 casinos with 10 of my buddies.
Oh, there's Justice there. He can only listen. He's busy, so.
Wow.
He's scared. He's scared of you guys.
Busy. No, he's probably making us some jerky for the road.
Yeah, probably.
Okay.
Oh man, is it deer jerky?
No, elk.
Oh my gosh.
That's
amazing.
Frankie, you could make a requirement for Adepticon.
Yeah, actually, that is a requirement.
Shawn's not going to eat it though. Like I think that's the one thing holding me back.
Why would Shawn not eat that?
Because Shawn doesn't eat meat or anything off of a grill. Or
it's not accurate. I only eat meat. I just don't eat meat off barbecued grills.
Shawn loves the meat lover's pizza. That's what he'll do.
I just don't eat things off barbecues. Jerky's all right. That's dehydrated. It's literally the opposite.
It's clean. It's lean too. Like when I used to powerlift, I was eating about 8 deer a year or more just because of all the clean, lean meat. Like,
but he wasn't he didn't mean like from a grocery store prepared. He was like in the wilderness eating deer. Like
I hunted deer, killed deer, put it in my freezer.
This deer with Frank just hanging off it, trying to eat it.
Frank, I got a deer in my freezer right now, so I know what you're talking about. And
I would butcher it in my kitchen
this weekend. And you got what?
Yeah.
I butcher my animals in my kitchen. There was one time I had I was only driving my Jeep, and there's no way to get my deer in the Jeep, so I was on the hood, and I had to hold the legs out the window while I was driving just to get it to my freaking place.
This seems like a fantastic point to say. Tune in on December 30th for the continuation of this story on their podcast.
I'm just saying I missed the elk meat. I haven't hunted in a while.
Oh, fantastic. All right, well, fellas, thanks very much for that. I love how we move from pike configurations to how to transport deer. Yeah, fantastic. But,
I miss it, man.
We'll bring some for you, man.
Okay,
listen
fantastic.
to these true Canadians right there.
Yeah, we'll bring some for you. Fantastic. Yeah, we'll bring some real Canadian dishes down for you guys. A can of maple syrup will go. So, also, I have all the jerky ready, says Justice. So
sweet road trip.
Yeah. Fantastic. All right, folks. Well, thanks very much for that, Frank. Make sure you send me some photos of those scouts so I can get them up next week, so I can keep that get that segment rolling for people to check that out. You should send the e-webs after that. You'll have a fan in Ryan. So in fact, you can make the e-webs the absolute last thing that you paint. So.
Yeah.
Can the picture of them just be him throwing them in the garbage and saying, you don't need these?
Also acceptable. So also acceptable.
If they were mine.
If you had like an uneven table or something and you needed to like prop your table up with an e-web base, I'd be fine with that too. So.
Hey, just wait till 2 years from now when we get that points update that's coming out soon, where they're range 4 and still 55 points.
I think somebody
who keeps saying it's going to be tomorrow?
Yeah, I'm not sure who that is, but I thoroughly enjoy those posts because they trigger about 97 memes immediately after, which is awesome and entertaining.
I always put some sarcastic.
So, yeah, for sure. So, yeah.
No, we'll probably get that points update like a week before Adepticon, and it'll just be valid right then.
Actually, they hand it out with the players pack. That would be fantastic.
Oh yeah. But the thing is, lists are already due 2 weeks in advance, and now half these lists aren't.
Somebody's playing like an 874 point list, so and actually has a 19 point bid at Adepticon, but it's 874 after the points update. Yeah, that will be the.
Like, we don't know what happened at Worlds. It's like, okay.
Yeah. Striker pointing out the first full week in November is time to panic. So I'll point out that I'm not overly concerned one way or the other about the points update. I'm just entertaining myself with the with the window watchers that are just waiting for that to drop, refreshing every 45 seconds on the AMG website. So
hey, I'm ready for those 60-point phase ones.
60-point phase ones. Okay. I mean, I didn't
Yeah,
even know clones were still a faction in this game at this point. So
Yeah, clones exist.
yeah.
Oh, whatever. Everybody keeps talking about how awesome they are now because Obi-Wan won some tournament in Denmark. I'm like,
I mean, Obi-Wan is pretty good. I mean, he does a lot of
Obi-Wan
things.
could win a tournament next week in Iowa.
That's accurate.
okay, well then you take him to Worlds, and if you feel good about it, hey, it's all more power.
Hold
I'm
on.
not running Obi-Wan.
Let's back up. Clones are about 5 acts short of where Ryan's min threshold is for playing lists.
Right.
So
I can only hit 10 out of them. I'm like, oh man.
yeah, he's not even close to qualifying.
You're taking the rebel officers, just the command, or not the rebel ones, just the commanders.
Yeah.
If you could string it down to 2-man units, you could do it 2-man units to get you 12 acts.
Yeah, I don't.
Hey, if you ever need a multi-act rebel list, let me know. I got a few.
I don't.
Like 14.
I don't need that.
That actually have meat on the bone.
Shawn fits that in the skirmish list.
Yeah, exactly. What are you playing, skirmish? Because that's where I'm playing. Yeah, that's the boring Legion right there. It's like, oh, you're all done. Awesome. All right, let me just go with these 8 activations here real quick. So, yeah.
I play this game for fun anymore. So I want to play Dan. I want to play Boba, and I'll make the list work, kind of thing. So that's where I'm at with it. So.
Yeah, like I said, it's all.
I'm on the opposite. It's where I'm
meta chasing.
Playing for blood.
Awesome. All right, folks. Well, I hear my baby has finally woken up, so I'll go take care of her. And you guys have a great night. We'll see you on Friday. Oh, by the way, Friday, and I know this is at the end of the episode. I'll make sure I announce it on Friday. Friday will be an episode, and then we're gonna have 2 weeks off potentially, 1 week for sure, and then we might be back at the end of November with Big Jace playing, but we might have a 2-week hiatus just due to a tournament. But we will definitely see you this Friday, and then we'll give you guys an update past that what and if our schedule will open up past that. But December we should be jam packed full of Legion. So what do you got, Frank, for us? What?
You don't have Thanksgiving up there, do you? No.
We had Thanksgiving.
We had Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Thanksgiving's past, man.
Yeah,
it doesn't matter.
That was a month
No,
ago.
it hasn't.
Yeah, Thanksgiving was like
2
a
weeks
long time ago.
Oh wait, no, you guys bumped it up for the World Cups for your early exit, didn't you?
World Cup?
What's that?
Yeah, we played for the Stanley Cup here. We don't know about no World Cup
come on,
here.
man.
Stanley Cup.
How's last place treating you?
What? Hey, somebody's got to hold up the league.
No, Grey Cup's where it is. Come on.
The Grey Cup. The Grey Cup. Our city's not even. Our team that's from our city isn't even playing in the Grey Cup. That's embarrassing. So
yeah, but the team from our country is.
Well, they're all from our country, but yeah, there's that. But anyways, it sounds like a great time. So off we go. See you guys on Friday. All right, thanks for watching. Cheers.
See ya.
Yeah. All right. Cool, Jace. All right, I'm gonna run because Zuri's up now. So, all right, thanks for that. Good episode. We'll see you and Friday. We're all ready to go. So I literally have no work to do before Friday. So that's excellent. All right. Well, thanks, buddy. I'll chat to you later on.
Sounds good.
Okay.
You
later.
bet. See ya.
Do.